haven't seen Charlotte Flair, Tom, for months since the summer. You're absolutely right.
Three ways WWE can set up Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania 41. Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton is a dream match many want to see ever since the latter joined WWE's main roster last year. It seems like this encounter is closer to happening en route to WrestleMania 41 that Charlotte Flair got injured during a match against Asuka on SmackDown in December 2023. She has been absent from WWE television since then. And while Flair was recovering, Tiffany Stratton was drafted to the Blue brand and quickly rose to the ranks, eventually becoming the women's champion. With reports emerging that the Queen was set to return soon, it's possible that both women can finally engage in a feud fitting for a WrestleMania stage. For this list, we will look at 3 ways WWE can set up Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania 41. Number 3. Charlotte Flair can win the WWE Women's Royal Rumble. The easiest way to get Charlotte back on top and in the title picture is by making her return in the Women's Royal Rumble and booking her to win the match. Stratton can initially convince her to pick Rhea Ripley, who defeated Charlotte at WrestleMania 39 to become the SmackDown Women's Champion, only for Flair to pick Tiffany instead. Winning the Rumble is also a way for the veteran to showcase that she deserves the title match like any other person. As many may know, Tiffany cashed in her Money in the Bank contract on Nia Jax to become the women's champion. Before this happened, she and the Irresistible Force became close friends on the brand. Interestingly, another close friend of Jax's on the brand is Flair. Charlotte and Nia have a close relationship in real life, which is something that can be used in the feud of Flair and Stratton. The Queen can reason that the buff Barbie messed with Flair's friend, who has supported her in her journey. Charlotte Flair prevents Tiffany Stratton from being the next queen of WWE. For the next few weeks on the Stanford-based promotion, Tiffany can act as if she's on the top of the roster and begin calling herself the new queen of SmackDown, which will most likely not land well with Charlotte. For their possible feud, Flair's motivation can be to take back everything she has lost out of the blue championship, spot at the top, and even being referred to as the Queen. As for Tiffany, this can be a chance to prove that she can be on the same level as Flair. Charlotte Flair receives a message from Top Star after attending recent WWE show. Charlotte Flair has been out since December 2023 due to a serious knee injury. The Queen was backstage at a recent WWE show and even received a message from a top NXT star. Flair surprised many of her followers online when she posted an image of herself with the Metaphors Lash legend and Jakara Jackson. She has been recovering from knee surgery, and there have been rumors about her potential return ahead of WrestleMania 41. In her post on X/Twitter, Flair claimed that she didn't grow up wanting to be a princess. She was different because she wanted to be in a bad B***TCH girl gang. The tweet got a response from Legend, who approved the 14-time Women's Champion's message. Charlotte Flair has been out since early December 2023, when she suffered a serious knee injury in a match against Asuka. Flair was diagnosed with a torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus in her left. She underwent surgery the following month and has been on the road to recovery ever since. The typical recovery time for that kind of injury usually lasts 9 to 12 months, which means Flair should have been cleared to return by now. It will be interesting to see whether she'll be coming back at Royal Rumble on February 1st in Indianapolis. Charlotte Flair already part of WWE's internal roster. According to WrestleVotes on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Backstage Pass, Charlotte Flair is close to returning and is currently listed as part of WWE's internal roster. The Queen is expected to be part of SmackDown, while her longtime rival Becky Lynch will likely return to Raw. We're told both Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair's names now officially appear on the current internal active roster once again. As of early this week, we can say that Becky Lynch is set to return on the Raw brand, while Charlotte will make her home on Friday night. So a little status quo there, WrestleVotes said. The Queen could set her eyes on Tiffany Stratton, who is the new WWE Women's Champion. There are also plenty of dream matches for Flair, including Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Chelsea Green for the Women's United States Championship. Charlotte Flair spotted backstage at WWE show. Huge return on the cards after 14 months? Charlotte Flair was present backstage at a recent WWE show, which will surely lead to chatter about her potentially returning to the promotion after over a year. The Queen attended this week's NXT. As per her recent social media activity, Flair hasn't competed in WWE since December 2023 after she suffered a torn ACL in her match against Asuka during their match on SmackDown. This unforeseen injury put her on the shelf, so much so she hasn't wrestled in 14 months. Though there were rumors in between that Charlotte Flair was gearing up for a return, things didn't pan out as predicted. Amid this, Flair has fueled chatter of her return with a recent social media post. A couple of hours back, the Queen took to her X, formerly Twitter, account to post a backstage picture from this week's NXT, where she was clicked with the up-and-coming stars Jakara Jackson and Lash legend Vince Russo thinks Charlotte Flair could return to face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 41. A few days back on Sportskeeda's Legion of Raw, Vince Russo predicted who could face Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 41. Russo explained that since a stage like Mania would warrant a high-profile opponent, either Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch could return to challenge Ripley. I would have to think it's got to be Charlotte or Becky, because those are the only two that are going to mean anything. Bianca Belair, maybe? But she's doing the thing with Naomi now. I would think that Charlotte and Becky are the only two that make sense. He said with Royal Rumble 2025 just over a couple of weeks away, there's a chance WWE could bring back the Queen during the Women's Rumble match. Charlotte Flair previously won the gimmick match in 2020, following which she went on to defeat Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania 36. Top WWE stars spotted backstage ahead of rumored return. Charlotte Flair is gearing up for a main roster return and was present backstage at the January 14th episode of WWE NXT. Having last been seen in a WWE ring on the December 8th, 2023 episode of SmackDown, Flair was recently added back to the internal roster ahead of her return. Flair has now posted a photo to her own Twitter account, showing her backstage at Tuesday's WWE NXT alongside Lash legend and Jakara Jackson. The photo, which can be seen below this news story, featuring the Metaphor members with Flair's caption at the time of writing, it isn't known when Flair will make her return, although it is noted that she will be on the SmackDown roster, per the previous report. It was also previously reported that Flair would undergo a presentation change upon her return, leaning more towards the Queen type of gimmick. With WWE Royal Rumble taking place on February 1st, 2025, it has been speculated that Flair could return in the titular women's match. Charlotte Flair or her ex-WWE rival could win the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match. Chris Van Vliet makes bold P.